Hey there, welcome to this tutorial. Today we are going to solve another programming puzzle from Kattis. It's called the Permuted Arithmetic Sequence. In this puzzle we will be provided with different sequences of numbers and we are asked to check whether these sequences of numbers are arithmetic or not. There is also this new notion of a permuted arithmetic sequence. But before we discuss that, let's just quickly talk about the arithmetic sequences themselves. So, what is an arithmetic sequence? First of all, it's a sequence of numbers, and what makes it arithmetic is that the difference between all of the successive terms in this sequence remains constant all throughout the sequence. So, more generally, if we have a sequence of numbers, and the differences are all the same between the consecutive elements of the sequence, we call it an arithmetic sequence. And this is known as the common difference, which can be positive, like the example that we just saw. It can be negative, like here we start with 19, then the difference between all of the terms, all of the successive terms is minus 3, or it can also be 0. So far so good, but then what is a permuted arithmetic sequence? As the puzzle states it, it's a sequence which itself is not arithmetic, but reordering it would turn it into an arithmetic sequence. Now, as we can see here, any arithmetic sequence, regardless of its common difference, is sorted. And therefore, here, reordering would mean sorting it, so that if we have a sequence which is not arithmetic and sorting it would make it arithmetic, then it means that it's a permuted arithmetic sequence. Great. How can we code it now? Easy. Let's say that we have this sequence of numbers. We are going to first compute the difference between the first two elements. Let's store it in a variable called capital D. Then we are going to loop through the rest of the sequence, and at each iteration we are going to compute the difference between the element at the given index and the element at the index behind it. Then we are going to check whether this difference is the same as the difference between the first two elements, because by definition we expect that all of these differences should be the same. If it was the same, we would continue, and if not, we would already decide that it's not an arithmetic sequence. Let's define a function for it, which takes in a list as input. The first step, we compute the difference between the first two elements. Then we loop through the rest of the list and check all of the upcoming differences with this original one, or the first one. So we start from the second index and we are going to loop through the last index of the list. At each iteration we are going to compute the difference between the element at the given index and the element at the index behind it, and we just check whether they differ or they are the same. So if here we see that these two are not the same, we can already return false. If, on the other hand, the loop is over and no false values are returned, then it means that it's actually an arithmetic sequence. Okay, the first input is going to be the total number of test cases. In each test case, the first element only shows the length of the sequence, and we don't need it. So let's first receive the total number of test cases, and then we are going to receive all cases, and as we just talked about it, each test case is separated by white spaces, so we split it based on spaces, and then we just need to make all of the elements integers and also turn it into a list. and we also don't need the element at the first index, and we can get rid of that. Now we just check if our function returns true on the given test case, and if that's the case, it means that it's an arithmetic sequence. If itself is not arithmetic, but sorting it would make it an arithmetic sequence, then we would just print out permuted arithmetic. Let's also comment it. And if none of these are true, then it means that it's non-arithmetic. Great. Let's now also test it. So we have 3 test cases. The first test case is actually arithmetic. That's true. The second test case is permuted arithmetic. That's also true. And the final test case is non-arithmetic. So as we see, our code works out perfectly. And with that, this tutorial would also come to an end. I will post the codes on my website and then share the link to that in the captions of this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in my next tutorial.